batsman.
The world record holder there, Yulia. World record holder, opening partnership of 257 against the Philippines in the 2020 match.
There you go. Not bad.
Only ICC accredited century maker. Yeah. Amazing.
All right. So you'll take over, Andy.
Yeah, all ready to go?
Alright. Selamat siang semuanya. Terima kasih hari ini sudah datang di acara webinar series kali ini. Kali ini kita kedatangan tamu dari pemain Women's Big Bash League dari Perth Scorchers, namanya Chloe Piparo. Did I say your name right?
Yep.
Dia right hand batsman, main di kapten dari Fury juga. Jadi kalau Fury itu ada tim provinsinya lah kalau di Indonesia. Dia kapten dari tim provinsinya, main di Big Bash League juga. Nah, selanjutnya saya kasih Andy untuk introduce tamu kita. Here you go, Andy. Over to you.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello. How many have we got on? We've got a few here today. So I want to welcome Chloe onto our Zoom call today. I've known Chloe a long time, and I want her to share her experiences from junior cricket up into being a professional cricketer and captain in the state of Western Australia. So although Chloe's still very young, she has a lot of cricket experience. So Chloe, really appreciate your time today. I'll hand you over to Afi, who will ask you the questions. If it comes anything a little bit difficult or anything, I'll just jump in and try and break it down a bit. Their English is a bit like my English, so we connect quite well. So, over to you, Afi. You want to fire away?
Thanks Andy.
Chloe.
Jadi tadi Andy bilang Chloe ini kenal dari Andy ngelatih pas dia dari junior. Sekarang umurnya itu 24 tahun, kelahiran tahun 94. Mungkin di sini ada yang seumuran ya. Tapi udah main di liga profesional. Jadi mungkin banyak yang bisa ditanya-tanya juga gimana caranya main di liga pro atau tips-tips supaya jadi pemain yang hebat. So Chloe, let's get started. For the first question is if you can explain or tell us what's the pathway you took from early days playing cricket to where you are now playing for the Scorchers.
Yep. Thanks for having me, everyone. For me, my cricket just started in the backyard like most kids down in Australia. It just starts, I had an older brother and my dad played cricket as well. So we just started in the backyard, and then I joined up with my local school team, which was all boys. And I played boys cricket all through my junior cricket at my school. And then I live about 2 hours from our city, so Perth. So when I was in year 11 and 12, I started going up to Perth to play female cricket. And then from there, got selected in our under 17 state team. And I was able to do four of those tours, because then it changed to under 18s. And then from there, I got selected to play my first match for WA in 2011. So I'm a few years into my career with WA now. And I guess I was part of the original Big Bash team for the Perth Scorchers and have played, I think that must be season 5 coming up now. So I guess it's all pretty similar to many stories over here. I started in the backyard and kind of progressed my way up.
Jadi Chloe mulainya dari backyard atau dari halaman rumah, kakaknya main kriket, papanya main kriket. Jadi dari keluarganya memang sudah suka kriket. Terus dia dari umur 11 tahun mulai kriket, terus terpilih di tim state atau tim provinsinya umur 17 tahun. 18 tahun balik lagi. Terus dia mulai main liga profesional itu umur 20 tahun. Jadi termasuk salah satu pemain yang karena liga Big Bash League itu mulai When's the first Big Bash, Women's Big Bash League? 2014?
Yeah, I think so.
Jadi Liga Big Bash League perempuan itu baru 2014 di Australia. Nah, dia salah satu pemain pertamanya yang main di Perth Scorchers. So, so playing in this, playing in the early days in the WBBL, first couple of teams that played there, what changes have you noticed until now?
I think the biggest thing that's probably changed is the runs. I think when we started out the first 2 years, 120 was probably a pass score, and you could be really competitive with that. And now it's pushing 145, 150. You need to get those types of runs to be a competitive team. So I think that's probably the biggest difference. Not saying that you can't win when you score 100, and we've done that at the Scorchers. We've got a really good bowling attack, so we still back ourselves in to defend any total, but the runs has definitely increased. And the fielding, I think the quality of players' fielding has increased, just players getting fitter and more athletic, I guess. And then I guess in terms of the batting, just people's games have changed a lot. It's a lot more 360, I think. The first few seasons when people would lap and play reverses, it was quite foreign, but now that's kind of a done thing now by most players. So yeah, I guess the ability to hit power shots and then also have a really good touch game and play those kind of funky shots has definitely improved.
So that changed how you train, how you train, how you like. Does it change how your body should react to those changes?
Yeah, I think so. I think you could kind of get away with just doing the basics and having a few extra shots, but now you kind of really need to be able to score in kind of all parts of the ground. If you're not a big power hitter, you have to have that ability to be able to manipulate the field. So yeah, I think it has changed the way we train a lot.
Jadi kata Chloe tadi, dari season pertama sampai season terakhir ini yang kelima, banyak perubahan dari turnamennya, terutama dari skornya. Kalau dulu biasa 120 biasanya udah bisa menang, tapi sekarang harus sampai 150, 160 baru bisa kompetitif. Terus lebih banyak pukulan-pukulan yang akrobatis atau ini yang lebih unik lah gitu. Right. So what do you think about Cricket Australia's ambition for making cricket as the leading sport for women and girls? What do you think needs to happen for Cricket Australia to achieve that?
I think they're doing a good job of it at the moment. Obviously, when I started playing cricket, I didn't really know that there was a women's cricket team. I didn't know who really played. All my role models and cricket kind of heroes, I guess, were male players. So I think what CA are doing in terms of the access everyone has, and especially young kids has, to seeing the Australian team and seeing the WBBO on TV and that type of thing, I think that's going to go a long way to doing that. My biggest thing, which I say all the time, is we need to have specific spots when the Big Bash is on. It's kind of a bit disjointed over here on the TV. It might be on one night, might not be on the other night. I think to get wider public interest, it needs to be every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night or something like that. So everyone knows on a Friday night they're turning on the TV and there's women's cricket on. And then I guess the other thing is just making sure there's access to a wide variety of players. I think obviously everyone knows the big names, Perry, Healy, Lanning, but there are only three in a really good team, and there's a lot of different personalities and people out there that different girls can relate to. And I think getting their stories out there so girls can see that there's lots of different people that can play at the highest level, and everyone can have a different role model, I guess.
Talk about role model. Any heroines on cricket that you follow?
When I was a kid, Matthew Hayden was my hero, I guess. I just liked the way he batted, and it was probably really opposite to how I am. So I really liked him. And then growing up, I think Alex Blackwell over here, I'm not sure if any of the girls have heard of her. I just think the way she took on the game, and especially captaincy was something that I really looked up to.
You mentioned about captaincy. How do you train your mental toughness, especially when you are captaining, where you need to be a leader? Because you've captained the Fury before, so.
Yeah. This is a really good question, and something that I guess, only being my third year as captain is something I need to work on, and it's something I find quite difficult. But I don't know if you can train it until you're in the moment, and then you can reflect on it and review it and maybe think about what things you could have done differently, so that if that moment comes up again, you know that you've done it, and you know what kind of avenue you want to take. And then I guess for me, it's just getting through all the sessions. Some of them are really tough, and if you get through some of the running sessions, you're building that resilience. So when you get into tough positions on the field, you should be able to draw on those experiences.
Jadi saya tanya Chloe gimana caranya melatih mental toughness atau kekuatan mental. Jadi dia bilang nggak ada cara lebih baik ketika kalian mengalami hal tersebut di lapangan dan direfleksikan atau dipikirkan setelah dari lapangan, dan dipikirkan kira-kira dalam momen tersebut apa yang bisa kita lakukan berbeda supaya ketika momen itu datang lagi kita bisa melakukan dengan sebaik-baiknya gitu. What do you love most about cricket? If you were asked by a young girl why she should play cricket, what would you tell her?
I guess the main one is that you get to play, or I get to play with a lot of my close friends, and to play a team sport with 11, or we've got a squad of 14 people that we're all trying to achieve the same goal and win titles and be really successful. So there's something about that. And I think the other thing is cricket's a really demanding game, and it's like no other sport you can think of, like even physically. You've got to be able to throw, you've got to be able to play for 50 overs or 20 overs, you've got to be able to run between the wickets. It's a very different sport in terms of how you train and the mental aspect to it. So I really enjoy how challenging it is and how rewarding it can be.
I've read some articles about you being suited to a much longer format. Do you have any preferred formats to play cricket?
Yeah, I probably prefer 50 over cricket, just because I open the batting and I can kind of set the tempo, and other people can bat around me. But in saying that, T20 is the way women's cricket is going, so it's really important for me to try and adjust my game to suit that format.
Oh, jadi tadi saya tanya ada format favorit nggak buat Chloe ini? Chloe bilang dia prefer 50 over, tapi dia bilang T20 ini sangat lagi booming banget, jadi dia juga challenge diri dia sendiri untuk bisa main di T20. Before I ask the floor, Andy, you got any questions? Can't hear you, mate. Probably your speakers. Can't hear you. You got no voice. No. Andy and technologies always happen. Probably need to get out and get in again.
Take them off.
Now we can hear you.
Right.
Speak a bit louder.
Down for the last 3 months, and people have been obviously worried about what have you been doing yourself, Chloe, in the last 3 months to keep yourself sort of focused and sort of be match ready for when things change for pre-season? Anything specific you've been doing, or have you been staying completely away from cricket and enjoying the time off?
Yeah, I think the lockdown and that kind of thing came at a really good time for us. It was in our off season, so while we couldn't go overseas and travel, we didn't have that added pressure of not being able to train and get ready for the season. So for me, yeah, it was just putting the bat down and getting a break away from skills. But I kept up with some running and gym work so that I was ready to go when we came back for pre-season. But I think it's super important that we take that time away and kind of get away from cricket a bit, because it is super demanding when we're in season.
Yeah, Fantastic. And one more before I open it up to the girls. Your best cricket moment, if you had to pick one, what do you think's been your best cricketing moment so far in your career?
Yeah, last year winning the WNCL title for us was by far the highlight in my career. I think WA hadn't won for 33 years, so to do that with the group of players that we had, it was really special, and I had a great time celebrating and the week following. So looking back on what that group was able to achieve over the last 12 months, something I'm really proud of, and I know that I'll look back in future years and have some great memories of that time.
No, brilliant. Excellent. All right, Afi, we'll hand it over to the board. Over to you.
Well, congrats for achieving that, and I'm pretty sure you're a big part of the winning team, so there's nothing better than that. Jadi tadi Andy nanya best cricket moment Chloe apa, dia menang Liga Nasional di Australia, jadi antara state, ada di Western Australia, Victoria, New South Wales segala macam, dan dia juaranya, dan dia salah satu dia pernah kapten di tim itu juga, jadi itu salah satu momen terbaiknya. Nah, untuk yang mau nanya, saya buka ke sini di floor. Silahkan, bisa tombol reaction-nya dipencet atau unmute aja. Kayak Gaman mau nanya nih. Oh, Tantri mau nanya. Di unmute dulu.
Oh iya. Dah.
Ya udah. Ya, sinyalnya problem nih. Bisa dicat aja kalau misalnya ini. Ya, yuk silakan.
Pak, saya mau nanya.
Ya.
Kan batting itu kan pentingnya itu footwork. Nah, kita itu
Sorry guys. Silakan yuk.
mau nanya Bang, gimana sih caranya dia nge-set planning practice-nya? Ya di chat ya.
Apa? Planning practice.
Nah, moodnya dibuka. Enggak di chat. Sinyal kalau nggak di chat.
Yuk, mau nanya apa yuk?
Nah, kalau saya sih siap. Kalau saya ini Pak, kan batting itu footwork itu kan penting Pak. Nah, apa sih yang dilakukan sama dia itu untuk latih footworknya? Karena yang kita tahu itu kan footwork itu bisa dari ladder aja. Nah, apa maksudnya ada lagi nggak yang dia lakukan selain melakukan footwork itu gitu Pak?
Yeah, okay.
Yang sebelum dan pas sesaat dia berlatih setiap hari itu.
So Yula here is our opening batsman. She asked a question around but what kind of training you use to train your footwork other than ladders, because she's currently doing ladder drills. So what kind of other training that you're doing to improve your footwork?
I think obviously the basics, where you can put 3 cones out, cover, straight, and leg side, and just make sure you're getting your foot to the ball. And then just last week I was doing one for spin. You just put 4 cones in front of you and get someone to lob the ball in those cones, just drop it, and you've got to work to get your feet around to hit it in a certain area, like straight down the ground. So I think, and then just go back to the start and do that quickly. I think that's it. That's another one. I think as much as you can try and incorporate it into when you hold the bat and stuff like that, because often we do some drills with no pads or no bat or no helmet, but then when we go and put all that stuff on, it slows us down a lot. So it's important to try and practice it with your stuff on too.
Jadi kata Chloe tadi banyak latihan basic, jadi salah satunya dia taruh 4 kon di depan, terus minta seseorang buat ngelempar atau ngelambungin bolanya ke arah kon itu, terus si batsmannya bisa mukul ke targeted area, jadi areanya dikasih target yang mau dipukul kemana. Terus di kon-kon itu juga kakinya jadi ngarah ke kon gitu, ada 4 kon, jadi latih footwork di kaki. Itu sih. Terus ya latihannya juga dibilang pakai alat karena biar terbiasa gitu pakai alatnya, jadi full. Next question is from Tantri. How do you plan your practice to achieve your goals?
Mindset.
Yeah, I think it varies. Some sessions will be really specific to what I want to get out of it, and others will just be trying to face the boulder and just react. But for me, it's just knowing what I want to get out of the session before I start, because I think often if we come to the session without being prepared, then we can just bat for the sake of it and not actually get anything out of it. So it's been really clear what shot I want to work on and how I'm going to do that, and then kind of it helps the coaches as well, I guess.
Jadi Chloe bilang dia latihan itu setiap sebelum latihan dia udah tahu mau ngelatih apa, pukulan apa yang mau dilatih, terus hasilnya mau kayak gimana. Jadi sebelum latihan dia udah tahu latihannya apa aja, yang mau dia goalnya apa aja yang mau dia capai sebelum latihan. Jadi udah dipersiapkan sebelum latihan.
I feel just quickly nip in there.
Go ahead.
And again, like it all comes down to what you want to get out of your training. The reason we train is to get better at our skills. So if you're just turning up, rocking up, having a bat and a ball, it's you don't get a lot out of it yourself, and it's just a bit of a convenience, really. So like I said, make sure when you've got your training plan that it fits into your playing plan, making sure that you are working on your weaknesses, because when you're working on your weaknesses, it will help you with your mental strengths and your belief.
Ya, kata Coach Andy juga kalau misalnya latihan cuma sediain bola sama bat doang tanpa ada plan untuk goals-nya apa untuk latihan itu yang kalian mau capai, itu nggak akan bawa kalian kemana-mana. Jadi tetap harus ada goals di setiap latihan. Yanti mau nanya nih, silakan Yanti. Nggak jadi. Okay, next question. Ada yang mau nanya lagi?
Pak.
Ya.
Izin mau nanya.
Okay.
Mau nanya kalau misalnya saat lagi betting, Pak, gimana sih caranya biar tetap fokus? Kan pasti tuh ada saat misalnya harus on sama bola, tapi ada satu kayak ada distraksi yang masuk gitu, Pak. Jadi gimana caranya saat kita lagi betting itu tetap fokus? Terus yang kedua, Pak, mau nanya gimana sih cara dia ngelatih timing? Kita punya power bagus, tapi kalau timingnya nggak pas, pasti nggak di pusat bet gitu. Jadi gimana sih cara ngelatih dia? Dia biasa dealnya tuh kayak gimana di latihan betting? Siap, terima kasih, Pak.
So Eden there has a question. How do you keep yourself focused when you're batting? And how do you practice your timing when you bat?
Yep, I think the first one is having a really clear routine. So understanding that we can't be on and focused for the whole game, and making sure that after we've hit the ball, we take time away, look at something in the ground, think of a song in your head to kind of let it go, and then make sure we refocus. So I think for one, I was trying to review quickly what happened, let it go, and then reset for me is really important, and having a consistent routine that you do in training and in games. In terms of timing, I think it's really important that you do like basic underarm drills where you just try and hit the ball as late as you can. And one we often do here is that if you're batting in the net, you've got to the ball has to try and hit the ground before it hits the net. So it's really important that you hit the ball really late. And just with timing, I think it's important we don't overhit the ball. Often when we think T20, we've got to hit the ball really hard and generate power that way. But if we just time the ball, we generate just as much power anyway. So it's just trying to make sure that we're focused on good technique rather than overpowering shots.
Jadi kata Chloe tadi lebih bagus fokus untuk timingnya daripada power.
Yeah, I think it's important. One again, Eden, like just following up from Chloe, there is, I think sometimes the more we try and hit the ball, we lose our balance and we lose our technique. And I think if you actually slow it down and go backwards and just really concentrate on your balance and technique, you'll actually generate more power with your body weight going through the ball than you will trying to aggressively strike the ball. And I think it is like going back to throwdowns, bobble ball along the ground and just consistently hitting the balls in the middle of the bat when it feels good, then just keep consistently hitting those balls. So it's a good point on training methods as well.
Jadi kata Coach Andy tadi, daripada agresif atau overpower untuk mukul bola, lebih baik latih balance teknik untuk mukul bola di tengah bat, karena powernya nanti akan keluar dengan sendirinya atau pasti generate powernya atau ngeluarin powernya akan sama. Sorry, tadi Rizky Ruby ada pertanyaan nggak ya? Tadi ngangkat tangan, terus ngilang lagi. Oke, nggak ada. Next question comes from Andriani. She asks, how do you handle situation of the game, especially when you're captain, when your team is down or not in a good position?
For me, it's trying to remain as calm as possible, which is often not easy to do when you let your emotions get the better of you, and everyone knows that they can be doing better. And then I think the other thing is just backing in your players, making sure that they're really clear on what the plan is